Hi, welcome back to another Cajun toy review. Today we're continuing with our Halloween horror month, and we're going to be looking at another iconic horror villain, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I didn't leave this figure out. It was in the back of my mind, but I wanted to do the trifecta. I wanted the Trinity. I needed Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers because those were the killers and the horror monsters that I was familiar with as a kid. I did not see Texas Chainsaw Massacre until I was in my 20s. And I have a little bit of a story about that I'll tell you when we're doing the figure. But yeah, I'm glad I waited because this movie is messed up. But man, I've grown to love and appreciate the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Leatherface. And I'm excited to talk about it with you guys today. And it's the perfect time because we are almost finished with our Halloween horror month. There's so many more figures I want to review, and we'll see what happens. But we are still going to review what I think is the scariest figure of all time, and that'll be on Halloween. That figure will be out. But in the meantime, we are continuing with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I love this box. This is the original poster on it and stuff. It is messed up and awesome. And yeah, big read up. Who will survive and what will be left of them? And that is very true if you have not seen this movie. America's most bizarre and brutal crimes, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What happened is true, not a motion picture. That's all just as real. That's just as real. Rated R. Barely. Rated R should be. Anyway, we got a really cool shot of Leatherface on there with, I forgot her name, but she is hung up on a meat hook. On the side, we got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with basically this whole package is this kind of Leatherface's mask. You can clearly see the stitching in the ear right there. This side, nothing different on there. It's just a different side of the mask, no ear. On the top, more mask, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. On the back, we had a read up on it, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is the tragic tale of 5 young friends who venture into rural Texas one hot afternoon and become victims of the most bizarre and brutal crimes in Travis County history. Many of them meet horrific end at the hands of the murderous lunatic Leatherface in what goes to be known as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Got a bunch of product shots on there. Got Leatherface with his mallet coming down on someone. We got a table full of tools: chainsaw, hammer, cleaver, knife, meat hook. And we got Leatherface with his pretty lady mask on, and then of course Leatherface with the chainsaw. And it includes 2 interchangeable hands: cleaver, knife, meat hook, mallet, and chainsaw. Pop open this, and inside we got a picture of Leatherface standing there in the house with all this bones and collections on the background, looking crazy as hell. And then we got a figure right here, and yeah, he looks insane. I'm really digging it. Hope that tie goes down. That's standing a little bit too erect for me, but he is looking awesome. The blood spatter is different from the product shot right here. I don't know if that's good or bad. We'll see. But yeah, let's get into it. There is some accessories in there. This is going to be a fun figure to talk about. So let's check out our Leatherface. And we are looking at our Leatherface from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And if you haven't seen that movie, I recommend it. It's one of a kind. The product, definitely unique. And if you're a fan of horror, slasher films and stuff like that, and you haven't, then yeah, it's time. It predates Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, Halloween, all these famous movies that everybody knows. And started the franchise, and basically, anyway, the figure, we're here talking about the figure. This figure is really good. It really captures that. It just looks dirty and grimy. This figure is scary. You see this figure kind of coming at you in the dark. That profile of it with the eyes coming out that mask, bloody chainsaw, bloody apron and stuff like that. Just dirty, scary man. And I think they nailed that look. So I'm pleasantly pleased. We're going to take a look at the accessories that he has, and then we'll look at the articulation, and we'll talk Leatherface the whole time. So let's dig in. Alright, so we're looking at Leatherface's accessories, and there is quite a bit, and it's all just twisted stuff that you would see at the Sawyer house or a slaughterhouse. in particular. So first of all, we get 5 weapons or tools, and an apron and 2 head sculpts. So let's take a look at the apron first. It is a nice cloth material. It's got that kind of plastic feel on the front, almost like some gloves, but very dirty and grimy. It can be tied on the back around his waist and just pop the heads off and on there. But really cool with the blood effect, and it's really neat. It's scratch and sniff, so you got to do that on your own. And then we get this chainsaw, second chainsaw I get from NECA. This one is actually different from the one that we got with Ash. For mainly, it's not ported on his hand, but this one looks really sick. There's a lot more detail in this one with all the chrome and the black. We can even see this hose coming out right here for the fuel. This looks really, really good. There's all this line work on there. You can even see the pull start with the silver and the black on there. And of course, it's covered in blood. And it looks really good. There's some extra silver right here. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or not, but it's kind of here too. So it looks like it's just part of the style. It's supposed to be scratched or worn. Swinging that thing around like a madman. And look at the detail underneath it here. That is incredible. And stuff like that. So, Leatherface is most known for this tool, this chainsaw right here. And man, they did not disappoint with this thing. This thing is covered in blood and gore, and oh yeah, this is pretty much going to be always in his hands anytime he's posed. And then the second choice would be this mallet or hammer. And oh, by the way, we do see him use this in the movie multiple times, including the amazing finale. But of course, Franklin gets his demise. Hey, Dead by Daylight. And but yeah, this is Leatherface's trademark go-to. But his second most would be this mallet. We see him use this quite a bit, and very, very brutally and stuff like that. And the sound effects on that are just nuts. It's also, but it's very clean. This one is very, very clean. There's no blood or anything on it like that. Looks brand new. So I wish they had a little bit of grime or blood on it, especially what we see this used for in the film. It's also one of the best brutalities on Mortal Kombat X, if you haven't seen that. Then we got this meat hook, and this thing is really nice. It is covered in blood, and if you've seen the movie, you know what this gets used for. It's one of the scenes that made my fingers lock up and cringe the first time I saw it. This looks really, really awesome. It does have a little loop on there, so you can actually hook this on something if you want it. Just got to get me some victims so I can make me a little diorama. But yeah, this is really cool. It is kind of bendy. It took a little trick to get him to hold it the way his hands are made, which we'll look at when we look at the figure. Then we got this cleaver, and I do like how it is not straight. It's got like a chip in the back of it. The wood handle looks good on it. It's just a painted brown over the silver, but also very clean, like the mallet. No blood on this at all. But we don't see him use this in the film per take, but we do see the workshop where we see lots of different things like that. And you would assume, of course, they make a meat. They are cannibals, and yeah, this is a cool weapon for him to have. Definitely something you would think. Then we got this knife, this shank right here, and this I do not remember him using. I kind of went back and I was like looking at the movie. I was kind of going through some of the main kills, and of course I don't remember this knife being in the film. If you remember or let me know in the comments, because I don't remember Leatherface using this knife, and it's very unique looking. It's very ornate. Like this is supposed to be something. So and it might be from the sequels and stuff like that. I've seen those things so long ago, and I hadn't rewatched them like the first one. The first one holds up. I think is an amazing piece of film, just on the cinematography, the direction, just like everything. I think it's worth a watch. It's not as gory or as violent as some things you might be surprised. It's not nowhere as violent as like some of the Nightmare on Elm Streets or some of the Fridays on the 13th. It's actually pretty tame when it comes to violence. It just reeks of atmosphere, and I don't know, man. You can just smell that film. But yeah, anyway, if you know what this is from, let me know. Then we got these 2 heads. So we got the pretty lady head, and this is Leatherface right here near the end of the film. We kind of see the Sawyer family twisted and messed up, and Leatherface actually has a different mask on, where he's basically playing mother, preparing everything and stuff like that. We see him actually, I think, 3 different masks in the first film, But yeah, this is another one of the masks, and obviously these are all based off of kind of like Ed Gein, so we would assume that these are made out of human flesh, dried out, possibly a previous victim. And yeah, just like it's just this horrible, ugly leather mask. It's got a big bald spot where you can see like a piece chunked out right there. But you can see the straps coming through here. I mean, the detail on this thing is sick. You can see how the lips aren't straight, and you can see his nasty, nasty teeth in there. And eyes. Gunner hand. Is it gunner hand? Yeah. Just, man, they just nailed the look of this. And look at that hair. It's just all just nasty. Needs a good shampoo. But yeah, it's all just mixed mask made together. And I do like the stitching, how you can see the flesh of his face on there and his ear. And then, of course, the most known, the most famous look for Leatherface, his regular default mask, I guess you could say, his go-to. And yeah, this one's all stitched together. Those eyes are really, really good. I mean, they just he's almost like, at some points, like a sympathetic character and stuff like that, because he's basically playing defense for his house, and the way his brothers and his, they all treat him and stuff like that. He's kind of the goon and the enforcer and stuff like that. And definitely not educated or not very bright. But anyway, Bubba right here, it's just a cool face. This is definitely the one that's going to pretty much always be on him. And I do like the hair. The hair looks freaking awesome. It's all kind of like just messed up and just kind of wavy and stuff like that. Looks really good. But I think the main thing is the mouth, those teeth, because he definitely had those jacked up teeth, and those eyes. Those eyes right there seal the deal. So yeah, these are awesome accessories, guys. Really, really cool stuff. Like, this is all perfect things to have for Leatherface. So let's take a look at the figure. And looking at our Leatherface figure, if you're familiar with like the NECA horror figures and stuff like that, you kind of know what to expect with the articulation. But we're going to kind of look at the detail and the paint and stuff like that, and then we'll do a quick run through this figure's particular articulation to see if there's any differences. Sometimes with the head sculpts and stuff like that, we'll see different things, and with just the older figures and stuff like that as well. So the body of this guy in the sculpt on him is really great. He's just kind of this out of shape hillbilly looking guy and stuff like that, and just really dirty shirt. But they got the tie on, which is of course classic Leatherface thing. There's a separation here where the arm kind of meets and you kind of see the skin underneath there. It's noticeable depending on how you have his arm position. It's a little annoying, but I don't know, just like need a little bit extra piece of a little tiny little bit more plastic right there to kind of hide that. But it's a small thing. But yeah, the shirt's all dirty and nasty looking and stuff like that. There's a lot of detail in the back where it kind of poking out the back of his pants. And that looks really cool. The front has line work, but not so much detail, because pretty much you can have the apron on them. And then when I was looking at mine in the package, my tie was sticking up erect out the package. I thought it looked kind of weird. Apparently it's supposed to be glued down, and mine came loose. So that'll be fixed by putting the apron back secure on it and stuff as well. But anyway, the tie looks good. I do like the line work on it and stuff, but that looks good. It's a very soft material, so it does move. The arms are really dirty and nasty looking, and there's like some scratches and scuffs on his arms. That looks really good. It's got like he's been tied up or something. His knuckles are bloody. Yeah, that looks really awesome. And then he's got this kind of like bone or metal, I think it's supposed to be a chainsaw blade chain wristband. Correct me in the comments what that is. I think it's a chainsaw chain. And then of course the pants, there's no belt on, and I do like how his shirt's untucked here. It's kind of like coming out and stuff like that, like, like look like he'd be pulling his pants up or something like that. Just very sloppy, kind of unkempt. And I do like it, even though like he's kind of dressed up and like it's the best you can with what you got. Like he's trying to impress the family and be like the good boy. But pants are great, kind of similar NECA stuff we've seen and stuff like that. Just a great jean line work. Got those famous NECA knees, and then he's got them Sunday shoes on. these boots on, and they're very clean, little detail on them, some line work on it as well, peg holes on it and stuff like that. But I do like them. They look really cool. I don't recall seeing his feet in the movie. I have to go look at some promotional images or some pictures from the film itself. But this, when I picture Leatherface, I'm kind of seeing it from the top up, seeing the chainsaw swinging around and stuff like that. So the legs could have been, he could have been in shorts, and I probably wouldn't have known any different. But I do like it a lot. I think it looks good. I think overall the figure is actually really solid, and I don't know. I know it's one of the earlier ones, so maybe we'll see an updated one. Maybe I'd like to get some more hands, especially for holding. So let's talk about that real quick. So this hand is actually kind of your default open hand, but it's really wide. So if you put something in it, the cleaver, it's just gonna pretty much fall out. It's really loose in there. It's mainly meant for holding the chainsaw handle. Now, this hand has a groove in it. You can kind of see like that, and that is made for the cleaver and such to kind of fit in there and kind of secure. Let's see, that holds it secure. But I just wish he would have came with like maybe an additional hand, so you wouldn't have to force, like the meat hook you kind of have to force in there, and I feel like you shouldn't have to. But it is what it is. We do get a lot with this figure, and for the price, it's I think it's overall the value's there. So we'll go ahead and slap the apron back on this guy. Oh, let's do articulation first, and then we'll do the apron. So articulation for the head. Leatherface can look down about that much, up not so hot, and then we'll do the head, the mama head or whatever, not the pretty lady. Now we'll get a little bit more down, get a little flex in there, but yeah, full rotation on the heads. Full arm rotation on there. That single jointed NECA elbows, which very limited range. We got flex on the wrist, rotation, very little flex, but this hand seems to pop out a little bit more than the other, so it's best to put the items in it and then put the hand back in the wrist. Got waist rotation to the extent. I don't want to turn him too much. It feels like something's gonna pop loose. There is no ab crunch in there. Leatherface can kick about that much. Can jump and jack flash about that much. And it's about that single knee with the pants in the front of the neck legs. You're not gonna get much from the front like that. And we got rotation at the foot. Of course, peg holes on the bottom of the feet. So throw that apron back on him. Get him right. So I think this is a good figure. It's definitely deserving up in my horror shelf. And Leatherface is an icon of horror, and like I said, if you hadn't seen the film, I recommend the first one. You can skip the rest. The remake definitely, but the first one is worth watching. Definitely. So that is Leatherface, guys. What is your favorite Leatherface scene, moment? What do you think about this figure, guys? What horror figure would you like to see me do next? Put that in the comments and stuff like that. So I do have a couple more I want to try to get in before the end of the month. I think we're at 188 subscribers, guys, so that's awesome. Appreciate you guys so much. And we'll be finishing up the Marvel What If wave, and then we'll be starting Age of Apocalypse, and I got some DC stuff I gotta do too. So lots and lots of things to come, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, share, check out the Instagram. Got TikTok a little bit, need to do more stuff on there, but Instagram, I've been loading pictures from the reviews as they go up. If you want to support the channel, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Cajun Toy Review. Said before, pretty much all the money goes to a better camera with a mic input. So I think that's it. Housekeeping. Thank you so much. I'll catch you guys in the next review. Take care of yourself.